has a lot of same and similar aspects, but there are one or two things that are completely different, and those things make the posture of Paso Doble unique. So, but for now we would like you to try with us and little by little build up the posture of the Paso Doble. So for this we're going to use Slavic, and I'll ask him to demonstrate that to us. Now, for the beginning, we would like for you to try to elongate your spine, making your spine very, very long, all the way from the back of your bone to the back of the head. So if I could have you turn around. We're going to try to push this part of the body down as we create the longest spine we can, coming out all the way from the back of the head and stretching further into the ceiling. As we do that, we're going to make sure that our shoulders and shoulder blades are not going up together with the spine, thus creating a very heavy look, very stiff look, and no neck. In contrary, we're going to push it down and rotate a little bit so we have a feeling that we're pushing into the floor to stretch up, creating as long neck as you can. Now, as we do that, as we create the longest spine and pressing down the shoulder blades, what I would like for you to think about is eliminating a natural arch in the lower back. So for this, we're going to take our pelvic and straighten it even further, tilting it just a little bit under. That's going to give you about 2 to 3 centimeters of distance or of height more. As we do that, we're going to eliminate the curve, the natural curve in the upper back by dropping the chest and opening the back, the middle back, opening the spine, the space between the spine and the shoulder blades. Now, as we do that, we create a very, very straight spine, beautiful posture from the side. Now, for Paso Doble, the main thing that's going to be different from anything else is the hip area. What we're going to try to do, keeping the longest spine you can, is push your hips a little bit forward and up. Now, notice that as Slavic does it, he doesn't just push the hips forward and down. He doesn't just drop it, thus creating an arch in the back. This is what we're trying to eliminate. On the contrary, he's going to keep the longest spine and push the hips forward and up. As he does this, he's going to stretch the distance between the hips and the center. This, if you put your hands on this part of your body and you push your hip forward, you're going to feel that your hand is touching your body at every place of the hand. That place that you usually have the crease in the pants, this is the place that's going to be straightened up. As Slavic does this, his body weight comes more forward onto the ball of the foot. But notice that his head, as he does that, it doesn't drag back onto the heels, thus again breaking the back. On the contrary, he's keeping his back long, creating a natural but very, very smooth oval shape of the spine. If we could have you turn sideways to create that shape one more time, would be great. Excellent. Now, as we do that shape, he continues to maintain a long upper back without dropping it. And what now we want to concentrate on, if you please face the camera again, is your chest area. Now, instead of just pushing your chest up and out, opening your rib cage, we would like, on the contrary, close the ribs and push the chest up. So if in rumba, we kept the feeling that it's like a waterfall, we kept running the muscles down, creating a very loose feeling on the chest. In Paso Doble, the rib cage is closed and the chest is pushed up for a stronger look. Now, when we do all these kind of shapes, they are not the only ones that we would like to execute in the Paso Doble. This is done whenever you have a very strong movement, where you look like a matador, where you have an attack. However, if you would like to demonstrate something different, for example, the end of the line, and where you demonstrate that you have won, that you have beat the bull, that the bull is down and you are the winner, in that case, we're not only concentrating on the hips. Then in this position, the chest is going to be even higher, creating a very, very proud look. The spine is going to be longer over the center of the body weight, thus creating the stretch that goes up and even further up, going a little bit back. Now, with all these body postures, there has to be a shape. So we're not doing it one-dimensional, like a square or like a door without any turnout. When we do all the shapes in Paso Doble, even the one that has an attack with the hips forward, we're going to try to rotate the hips in one direction while the body goes in opposition, thus creating a very strong shape. And notice, as Slavik does this, he maintains this long oval shape, opening the space in the back. So you have to ask yourself, what is the storyline between this shape? Well, imagine the bull is coming straight at you, and he's opening the hips, pushing his hips as much forward, taking his body into another direction, so the bull has the space to run by and not hit you. This is one of the positions and shaping that we do in Paso Doble. Another position is when you stretch forward, the way we did for the ending line. Continue on. From here, we're not standing again flat, trying to demonstrate the squareness of your upper body. Again, you rotate one shoulder, one side leading the way, and the back arm, everything opens up in a very big and voluminous movement, creating as much round shape as possible. So you have a very toned, very slim waist and a beautiful, voluminous upper body. So it's not only square shapes of your spine and your hips. It combines with that all the rotations and the twisting that creates more energy and more liveness within your positions. We are going to move on into our third topic, the body layers and layers of space. Now, what is body layers? Well, we have basic 3 body layers within our structure. It is the lower level, which includes the legs, the knees, and the feet. The middle layer, which includes the hip action and the rib cage and all the sides. And the upper level is all your upper body and your arms. Now, in Paso Doble, lower and upper level are used the most. The middle level, we don't use as much. However, it's not inactive. You could still create a movement where you use the middle layer. Now, I'm going to explain to you what they are and how we have usage for them within the choreography. Now, the lower level is the legs, knees, and feet. The basic movement that we could create within this level is flamenco. Now, Slavik would like to demonstrate just a little piece of choreography so you have a basic idea of what we are talking about. Great. Now, as you see, it is very, very effective. It's very dramatic. It's deep. It has a lot of energy and a lot of determination. Now, we do use movements like this in routines on the competitions and in the show. However, you have to be very careful that when you do this kind of movements, not to get carried away and do them too much. Because when you're on the floor and you have about 20 other couples dancing all the shape, voluminous movements, and you doing this kind of footwork, although it is very exciting and impressive, it's going to get lost. So unless you are alone on the floor during the demonstration or show where you have the accents and everyone's attention only for you, you can do this, and this is going to get a lot of respect. Flamenco movement in your feet is not the only one that we use in the lower level. Slavik is going to demonstrate the beginning of the choreography that you have just learned, and will concentrate on the foot movement, how he uses his lower level to create extra attention, extra rhythm, and more determination in each step. Great. Even though this was not the flamenco movement, it still was the usage of the lower level. Now let's continue with the upper level. The upper level is your chest and your arms and your neck and your head. The positions of them at certain moment in time and how we can use them to create the positions that we want. Now, to be aware when you dance in Paso Doble that all your arms and shapes on the top have to be stretched out. Not drop next to you, but opposite, a very circular shape, very wide, very big. So we're going to watch Slavik to do the beginning of our routine one more time, and now we're going to concentrate on his upper level. Very well. Now you can see how much usage he creates from his arms, his chest, his neck and head positions. Now, when we dance, women use a lot of the upper level, but it's not more of a stretching position, it's much more circular, it's much more rotational, it's very soft. We do use feet a lot as well. I mean, we could go very, very flamenco and do the same thing that men do, but it's not done as often in our business. So let's talk how we can combine upper level and lower level together. We're going to demonstrate to you a little piece of the choreography without accenting any attention onto the levels that we've spoken about, and then one more time with the accents. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very well. Now, even though we have danced all the steps that we've done for you in the choreography, it looked empty. We've did all the steps correctly. We still created the energy with the focus and the determination of the effort to try to create that energy, but it still wasn't as good as you can make it. So we're going to try it one more time, and we're going to add the lower and the upper level to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3. Very well. You can see the difference straight away when we do think about the levels, the lower and the upper, and when we don't. Now, in addition to body layers, we have layers of space. Now, visualize 3 dimensions: the vertical, the horizontal, and the spacious one. We're going to use these 3 dimensions in explanation of the layers of space. Slavik is going to demonstrate to us the first dimension. We're going to talk about the dimension in front of you, the horizontal one. And we're going to call this dimension a table plane. Now, I would like for you to visualize a table in front of you. And when you do this, I would like to draw the line of the table. You can go either way, back or forward, but the idea is that you draw in the table, and what you want to think about is that you're not just doing your arm movement, is that you live in the energy of your arm, creating an illusional drawing. So, the demonstration of the table plane, please. As you see, he creates that line, and you almost see that there is a tracking. Now this movement, for example, he's leading the cape or he's leading the lady, and he draws the line of the table. Very, very often used in Paso Doble. Now, the second dimension or the space level that we would like to talk about is vertical. Now, for you, I would like to imagine door, any kind of door. Yes? And when you create a line, you actually draw in the outline of a door. Again, it's not just the arm movement. Everything has a tracking. The energy is when you have the New Year's and you have those sparkling things. When you move, you can see the tracking behind it. This is what Slavik is going to create right now. And he goes straight into a table plane again. Now, the third space, layer of space that we would like to talk about is the spatial one. For this, I would like for you to imagine a wheel, any kind of wheel, big wheel that you have on the cars, just enormous size. And he's going to create that shape in Paso Doble, again, creating the energy and the drawing, the silhouette of the shape of the wheel. Please try. Now, as you can see, he does this with both arms. And as he's doing it, he's creating the energy, that he's drawing the line of the wheel, creating the circular movement. Could we see that one more time? As you see, this time he did it with one arm, and it's very, very visible. The very visibility of the semicircle of the door, of the wheel. So, now that we have given you the body layers and the layers of space, we are going to continue with the next topic. Let's continue and talk about hand and arm styling for a man and lady. Now, Paso Doble is an upper-level dance, as we spoke earlier. So your arm and hand movement are very important. Now, one of the main ideas or one of the main principles where Paso Doble came from is flamenco dancing. When you dance flamenco, your arms are always going away from your sides. They're not collapsed, not right next to your body, but in opposition, they're going away, creating the shape between your arm and your side. What you need to keep in mind is that your arm always going away. Your elbow is circular. They're not sticking out elbow with your angles sticking out everywhere. It's a very circular position, whether your elbow sticking out and your wrist turned in or your wrist turned out. Now, the main movement, if you have a hand in front of you, is similar to when you look at your watch to see what time it is. Your elbow's going out and your wrist is turned in so you can see your watch. That's a very easy example to understand. Now, what you need to keep in mind that any movement of the arms in Paso Doble does not come just by the arms itself or your hands, that it comes from your back. So any movement that you do, whether it's a forward movement of the arm or up, you engage in and activating your back muscles, your shoulder blade, to create the movement that originates in the back and as a result of the action in your back, ends up in your arms. Now, if you're going up, what you would like to think about is your shoulder blade pressing down, creating a longer neck, and your arms stretching back and away. Again, keeping and maintaining a circular shape. Now, we're going to get Slavik to demonstrate to you some of the basic principles of these movements and how we can use them within the routine. Now we're going to ask Slavik to demonstrate the table plane for you that we spoke about earlier, creating a beautiful arm movement together with it. Now notice, as he does this, the table plane slow one. As he does this, he opens his left side, pulls his right side in, then the shoulder, then the arm, the elbow, and the hand continues in a circular movement. And as he finishes off, please notice that his arm is still away from his body. His elbow is soft, not angular, where he has all the angles sticking out. And his hand follows the line of the arm instead of sticking out in opposite direction or anywhere else. It finishes off in a beautiful line. Now, if we do that with a faster movement, You see the difference. One more time, faster one. Boom. As he does this, we do that again slowly. Yes, he opens his left side, right side comes in, shoulder first, elbow comes in next, then the wrist and the hand comes out. So the illusion is as if he wants to throw something, as if he's trying to throw a movement away. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand. He's throwing the movement in. One more time, slowly. And he's opening his left side, right side comes in, elbows, wrist, and hand. Great. Now notice that again, he's pulling that away from his side, creating as much space as he can. As he continues into the shape from here, notice that he's creating a great big long shape, circular movement around. Now as you notice, he does this with the back. His back and his arms are one body, one structure, not back and arm independently, but opposite. They are together. They are one complete structure. Can we see that if you separate your upper body, your back, and your arms? This is what we would like not to do. This is what we're trying to eliminate. When the arm is doing all the movements, all the intensity, but is not connected to the back. One more time. The arm is not connected to the back. Now if we see exact same thing, and he's going to connect the back and the arm together. And he opens the back rotates, the arm comes as a result, and he uses the back to open the arm and continues his movement in the whole of the upper body. Very well. Now we're going to now concentrate on the arms that we use above the body. Not in front of you, but when you raise them up. If we could see a movement here. Notice that as he does this again, it does not happen with the arm on its own. He uses his upper body, his back to create that movement. If we do it one more time slowly so we could see the difference. And he opens his left side. His right side come in. As he continues circling around, he opens his right side, pushing his shoulder blade down, creating a long neck and creating a space between his head and the arm. And notice that his arm is not completely straight. Again, it has a very soft finish in the elbow, and the wrist continues with the line of the arm. Now, women and men have similar arm movements, but women have something else. Women use a lot of the movements in front of them, where we play with the skirt, where we play with fans, where we play with castanets. So as we do all of this, we still keep the elbows out, we still keep the usage of the back in the arms, and we continue working your arms away from your body, creating a very round, voluminous shape. Now let's talk about hand movement. Men and women are not the same. Women use their fingers. They use their hands as if they're a fence. You continue creating lines, continue rotating your hands. Now what you would like to think about is not rotating your hand out all the time only. You could do it. It could be a part of your movement when you bring a man in. But the main idea of the movement is fan. Imagine this is a fan and you're rotating the fan around. Yes, so the movement starts outside edge of your hand in, continues rotating in, and comes out. And it continue moving in a circular movement. So you could do both hands at the same time, continue going up, continue on the other side. You're always using them as fans, as if you have castanets playing on the side. Now, your fingers are continuing leading with the middle finger and opening out. They're always circular. Again, we don't want to see straight fingers. This makes us look stiff. We want to see that all the movements has some sort of soft finish in them. So your hands are having a very soft, sensual feeling, rather than sticking out and rotating them with your fingers straight. Men, on the other hand, do not do that, of course. Their hand movement is different. So if I could have the beautiful hand of my partner, you notice that his fingers are together. He's not separating them and sticking them out like this. He's keeping them together. And again, notice that it's not completely soft and it's not stick out completely hard. It has a softness and a circular feeling to them. Now, as he starts moving, he could create a little bit of the fan in his four fingers. He can create a little bit of the fan, but he does not separate the fingers one from one. Again, the movement in the wrist is similar to the fan movement that women use. As he does all of the arms, his body, his hands continue that rotational movement, so they finish off the position of the arms. Very well. Now we hope we have given you some ideas how to use your body, your arms, your hands in the passo doble. So let's continue with our next subject. Now we have come to the last but not least subject, the body weight and movement. Now passo doble is distinguished by its body weight. And we would like to understand how it works to create the movement that is very strong, very dynamic, and not jumpy. So first we would like to get Slavik to stand sideways to the camera so we can demonstrate the body weight position of the passo doble. So as he stands with his posture erect and perfect, the way we have described it to you earlier, his body weight and hips are pushed forward on the balls of his feet. Thus, as he continues going forward, he's going to create, his hip movement is going to go even further forward, going on the balls and to the toes of his feet. Now, as he does this, notice that his chest and his head does not stay back. Can we show us the bad way? Yes? Now, his chest and his head does not go back. Maybe that's a little too bad. So as he goes forward with his hips, his chest and his head continues going forward onto the balls of the feet. As he goes even further, he releases the heels in the back and steps onto the foot. Notice that when he does this, and we're going to show that again, he does not jump. He does not go forward and then up to get onto the foot. He continues going forward in exact same movement, keeping his body level the same on the floor. One more time, his hips are continuing going forward, chest comes with the hips, head together on. Very well. Now, as he does the next step, I would like for you to pay attention that he doesn't change his body shape and his spine. He continues as if a force pulling him forward towards the next direction. He continues going forward. Great. Now we're going to see the exact same thing go in the other direction. So if we could just turn around. Now we would like for you to notice that when he does this, he constantly maintains the groundness. This dance, passo doble, has a lot of action that has a lot of ground into the floor. So your body weight does not go up and down. It constantly stays on the floor. It has more groundless than any other dance that we dance. So if we could demonstrate that one more time, keeping the center straight, strong, and forward, keeping the weight stretched into the floor as much as you stretch up. And the chest continues forward, the head doesn't leave behind, there is no arch in the back, there's a beautiful oval shape, the hips are forward, he does not jump, he maintains the same level. Very well. Now we're going to talk about another position of the body weight in passo doble. When a man stretches up and then suddenly he has to change into a split position. What we often see is that when a man stretches, please demonstrate,